Thank you, DJENVY, for such an awesome introduction. I first would like to say thank you, Cesar and DJENVY, for affording me the opportunity to be able to be here on your platform and talk to people about how to build generational wealth by investing in the real estate community. And not just only from a standpoint as an agent, but as a standpoint of an owner of one of the top real estate companies in the world. So I've been licensed in this industry for 16 years, actively purchasing and selling property as a real estate investor in every aspect of the world. I'm licensed in multiple states such as Tennessee, Kentucky, and Georgia, but Georgia is referral basis only. And I'm vested with one of the top real estate company in the world for years. Okay, so my license currently is being held at eXp Realty, which is a virtual real estate company. Okay, so within my 16 years, I've not only opened doors, but I've showed properties, written up contracts. I've also helped soldiers find their homes and build homes from the ground up, find land for building, and also help builders and developers develop communities. So today, if I could, I would like to enlighten the people on how to build generational wealth in a military community in terms of real estate during the pandemic. So most people would say flipping homes and wholesaling may be the quickest way to build general wealth. But again, I'm here to put some insight into different things put some different things on the table. So first, I would like to start with the following topics. And if I can bring up the first slide, my topics of discussion are basically going to be, how has the COVID-19 affected our market? And why should you use your VA home loan if you have that entitlement available to you? And why should you look into purchasing near a military installation, whether that be Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines? So what are the benefits to purchase or build a multifamily home having that entitlement or purchasing in the surrounding military communities? Okay, so if I could, I would like to bring up my next slide, and I would also like to answer the first question as to how our market is affected. So we are actively closing homes like clockwork, and that's only because of our economic structure that we currently have on in our area. And what I mean by that is there are multiple factors that are in place that allow our community basically to be stabilized. And if you can look at the first slide, I'm just going to highlight a few things. Okay, a few things that have come to our area and some things that you may want to look into if you're possibly looking at investing, particularly if you are in an unfamiliar area. Okay, so within our area, which we're speaking about particularly, which is next to Fort Campbell, Clarksville, Tennessee, okay, we have a few elements. And one of the most biggest things is we have a facility here, which is a new gambling facility that has housed their place in Oak Grove. This facility is basically a $20 million economic development project, and which they basically offer 40 direct full positions and part-time positions close to Clarksville, okay, which basically consists of a racing, gaming, and hotel. Okay, in addition to that, we have Amazon up in Nashville, and we have a lot of those people coming down here because why? Because our homes are a little bit least expensive than what they are in Nashville. So if you can see here on this slide, you see that Amazon, they basically bought 5,000 jobs, okay? And then the next one is LG. So they also house their plant here as well. And then another one would be Hancock, which is a tire place that has also invested here in our community. So one of the major components that we have before those things even came to place would basically be, if you look at this slide, it is Fort Campbell. And Fort Campbell is housed in between Kentucky and Tennessee because it borders both states, okay? And within that facility, their houses basically, and we're gonna run it down here at Fort Campbell, it is an installation where it is home of the 101st, which offers support, which serve as the third largest military population in the Army. In addition to that, it is the 7th largest in the Department of Defense. And in that group, it speaks of active duty officers, which is roughly 1,884. And then you have the active duty enlisted, that is 20,511. Not to mention the family members, which is roughly 40,491. Retirees, 112,629, and the civilians are roughly 3,921. And that doesn't include the Army Reserve, the National Guard, which is roughly 18,166. So in total, we're talking about 237,497 alone at Fort Campbell. And that doesn't include the surrounding areas, which is Oak Grove, which are those places that are off on the economy, which is Oak Grove, Kentucky, and also the people of Clarksville, Tennessee. Okay, so if we look at the next slide, so it talks basically about the benefits in purchasing and investing in our area, because here we do a lot of new construction, and the least expensive new construction, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, the least expensive is starting out today at $200,000. Now, next month, I'm sure it'll probably be maybe 205 or 210. But that's just how fast your equity builds up. And in our area, it builds up 3 times as fast as it normally would in a regular area, for the simple fact that as they build, they increase in price. And then to build that foundation is basically what you can do too, is you can build multi-family homes. You can use your entitlement for that as well. Okay. So the second one that's outlined on our presentation is, why should you use your VA home loan if you have that entitlement available to you? And I would like to just go over briefly, looking at this slide, the benefits and using your VA loan, and who qualifies and why should you use it to build equity in your health and also build wealth. So we have active duty members of all branches that qualify for this VA home loan. In addition to that, we have other people as well that will apply to, which is retirees and those that are medically discharged from the military, and some that have separated for whatever reason. We even have the deceased service members, or our fallen soldiers, as we call them, who were killed on active duty, and possibly that entitlement is transferred over to their spouses and possibly children as well. But you would have to check for sure to check your entitlement. So definitely your DD 214 is a great place where you need to start. And you definitely need to reach out to VA, and they will let you know basically if you qualify for that entitlement. Okay. And then in reference to the entitlement, excuse me, it starts at a minimum of $483,300, and that varies from state to state. Why? Because the cost of living is a little bit different. If you get a single family and it starts at $483,300, and then if you get a multifamily, which is a duplex or quad, then it basically increases. Okay, so those are definitely one of the benefits in using that entitlement. Okay, so the third question was basically answered within this spectrum of the slide, which it basically broke down the active duty members, the retirees, and the deceased. Okay, and in addition to those that are wanting to invest near a military community, it's pretty much a great thing to do, for the simple fact that most of our active duty members, they have a housing allowance, which is provided to them. And that's only certain restrictions apply. Of course, with E1 through E4, you have to have authorization to move off post. But with them getting that housing allowance, that allowance actually allows them to be able to purchase a property. And let's just say hypothetically, if they purchase something for $150,000, and VA, based on the interest rate and the taxes, payments may be around $825, $850. So if their housing allowance is basically $1,600, the remainder is what they have left over. So it's just great to take that money while you are active duty to invest it within yourself, because you're just going to stay on post and it's just going to go back to Uncle Sam. So why not invest it, build up your equity, and then when you build up your equity, you can do multiple things. Like, most people don't realize that entitlement can be used over and over again. And one of the main benefits is there's no PMI, there's no down payment, there's low rates, and the benefits never expire. And again, they can be used over and over and over again. So if you're stationed here today and you know that you're going to retire someplace else, again, that benefit can be used over and over again. And even if you purchased here, you can actually pull equity out, and then you can purchase somewhere else if you desire to use a different loan. But why not use the VA loan again? Because again, you have those benefits afforded to you. Okay, so if you are looking at wanting to build a development, and this is for those that are a little bit more advanced, with the flipping and you want to take it to a different level. Let's just look at this last slide, well, the second to the last slide that I'm going to put up. This is currently a community that we have here, and I was mentioning to you about the gambling casino in Fort Campbell and Hancock. But this right here, this listing is basically listed for $125,000. It is 3.15 acres, and this is located in Hopkinsville. So what they're saying is there are 15 lots already scheduled and ready to go. And right now, let's just say for kicks and giggles, if you decide to do a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and the square footage was 1,670, and you priced them at $219,009 just to get started. Once you sold all of those units, those 15 units, you would basically be looking at $3,298,500. Okay? So that's just an idea if you wanted to take it to that next level. And I know when it comes to flip and wholesaling, the whole thing is if it's uncharted territory for you, you may feel reluctant because now you have to find a builder or a developer to develop those plans for you. But that's easy peasy because that's why I'm here. The next slide is, if this is not an option for you, how about this is on the table as well, Memphis. Okay, so here it is, a 2-unit that is going for $50,100. It's already occupied. It has the taxes up here for county and city. It basically lets you know how much it's going for. Now, these are already occupied. So the only thing, if you wanted to do, because you had extra money to invest somewhere and you're in a saturated market right now, think outside the box. Go to those areas that are not as saturated or that they may be, like in Jersey and also in California. So this is an option. And then you have another unit right here, which is a total of 8 units. Okay, so as you can see here, there's only 2 vacancies. So if you decided, hey, you wanted to bring it up to par, because that's what we do as you buy these dilapidated properties, mainly if they're inhabitable, then what you do is you just go in and you, the 2 that are vacant, you start revamping them, move the people out, and then you can just basically be building it up gradually. And then now you're changing the trajectory of that area. So that's just one aspect. But if you are open to doing anything like this, you guys have my social media outlet information, which is awesome. And I would like to say, for those that are flipping properties, real estate professionals, builders, we have this transaction coordinator company, which is 9 to 5 at transaction, and we do everything from contract to close. So if you are a new agent and you still don't even really understand the process of the job, then that's why we're here. What you're going to do is you're just going to get the client, get them qualified, take them out and show them. Once they're under contract, you pass it to us, and then we take over everything from there. And of course, it's for a fee, and everything varies. So it would have to be based on what your production is and exactly what you're dealing with, because when you're dealing with builders, it's a little bit more complex because the property isn't built and we have to deal a lot with the city. So again, thank you, Cesar and DJENVY. I appreciate this opportunity for allowing me to come here and enlighten people and just allow them to see how there's other ways to build wealth, and maybe you too would want to invest in a military community. Thank you.